week I'm going to bring to you my favorite cocktail, and I will give the extra sort of adage or warning that I am going to make this with our brand new 10-year wheated whiskey. It is probably the only cocktail that I would make with the 10-year wheated whiskey. I actually really love this neat, but if I am feeling like I just want my favorite cocktail, the 10-year definitely lends itself to your classic cocktails, so your Manhattans, even your black Manhattans, your old fashions, etc. So a thing to know about me, I am a purist when it comes to the old fashioned. I really like mine the old fashioned way with actual sugar and sugar cubes. I know a lot of people like simple syrup. You can do a rich simple syrup if you'd like. That's 2-to-1 sugar and water. Or you can do a simple syrup. Just note that the rich simple syrup a lot of times is gonna hold up and add that body, if you will, to your bourbons, especially your bourbons and your whiskeys, especially your cask strength versus a 1-to-1 simple syrup. Today I'm going to be using 1821's Havanna and Hide Bitters because I really like that combination with the 10-year-old wheated whiskey. Note though that my actual favorite old fashioned is made with Scrappy's cardamom bitters, but again, the cardamom kind of overpowers that 10-year note, and so I don't like it as much. So for me, I get my sugar cube and I essentially soak it with bitters, somewhere between 6 and 8 drops of bitters. I then am going to let that marinate. And by marinate, I wait until the bitters have sunk all the way to the bottom of that sugar cube, and that sugar cube is completely and totally saturated. So look, after a little time and patience, you get a completely and totally saturated sugar cube. And I like it to be saturated, 1, because that makes it easier when it comes down to the muddling, and 2, because I just feel like it's like, I don't know, mixing really well. Something magical happens when you do it. So once your sugar cube is saturated, we're gonna muddle it. I like a large muddler here because it really helps to grind things up fine. But I will say I have used small ones many a times. So you're gonna grind up your sugar, here. They say you're supposed to get it to powdered sugar level, which is why a lot of people use powdered sugar instead. But we are going here for some approximation. We're then gonna top it with our whiskey here. And I never measure. I'm a big fan of the 2 fingers and whatever, but today I have a really pretty glass, so I'm just gonna eyeball it, put in about 2 ounces. It's probably more. But the best part about using the sugar cube is you don't have to worry about exact measurements like that. I'm then gonna grind it a little bit more, and I'm essentially stirring this into the bourbon until it is mostly dissolved. The reason why I like the sugar cube method the best, I would say, is because I actually like the residual sugar at the bottom of your old fashioned. I like how it starts out super elegant and refined, and then by the time you get to the end, it's like this rich elixir of whiskey and sugar and bitters. And you really get to parse out all of those flavors. So once you are good and dissolved, and depending on your strength and your muddler, and if you were patient with your sugar cube, you add your ice cube. You can use a big giant one like I'm doing here, or you can do small ones, and I will say I do like to build my old fashions directly in the glass. You could also use a mixing glass if you'd like, but I like to do it in the glass and just give it a swirl. It makes me feel, you know, a little shishi, a little elegant, a little fancy. And then when you start feeling that your drink is cool around the edges from your swirling, that's when you take your sip. Oh, and I love these Havanna and Hide Bitters. I swear this is not an ad, but with this 10-year, there's this beautiful leather and tobacco that they add to the clove and the rosemary notes that you pick up in that 10-year. It really brings up and elevates those orange and those citrus flavors that you've got. The sugar just sort of mellows out the heat that you typically get in that 10-year, although I really do love that sort of building heat. And you just end up with something that's like beautiful, spicy. I mean, if you ask me, this is better than any chocolate chip cookie, dare I say, sweet potato pie that you could get. And there you have it, an old fashioned. I should say Dawn's favorite old fashioned. Cheers.